Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on monthly policy review, also known as MPR. And MPR is an initiative of PRS Legislative Research. And I'll be discussing the important part of the monthly policy review for the month of January. So whatever news that was relevant for the month of January has been compiled, and the final publication is there in the month of February. So the entire national news that is relevant for the examination purposes, the bill and the part of the national important news is a part of monthly policy review. So we'll make a discussion to that part that is relevant per se for the examination purposes. And before I begin the session, a brief about the PRS Legislative Research. PRS was founded in 2005 as an independent research initiative, and it aims to strengthen the basic legislative process, and it also assists the member of parliament and member of legislative assembly. This is based in New Delhi. This is a basic premise about the PRS Legislative Research. If you want to read more about the PRS, you can check out their websites also. And if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. So starting the session with the first news that was relevant for the month of January. And even the president addressed joint sitting of the parliament. See what happens whenever there is a new session that is ongoing. The president of India address the joint session, or whenever there is a new government that is formed, the procedures and the parliament procedures are there that the president address a joint session. So this time the budget session was there and a joint session of the parliament was there by the president of India. So the president of India has recently addressed the joint sitting of the both houses of the parliament, and president has outlined the major achievement of the government in the addresses she has made. So some of the important highlights that are the part of this speech of the joint session, we'll see some of the significant and prominent area one by one. Among them, the first is economy, that India has become the fifth largest economy in the world, an important moment for India. But categorically, we have to see that the many people are still under the BPL category, right? So we need to even come to a extreme that we need to reduce it drastically and even to overcome the challenges of the BPL. Now, measures such as direct benefit transfer, जिसे DBT भी कहते हैं. Now, the DBT part is again improved. The GST, the faceless assessment has improved in the financial transparency and accountability. For all the government schemes that is there, a direct DBT benefits is given. GST cess की अगर बात करें, even the collections of the GST was on the higher side compared to many quarters, and even all other part of e-governance has improved in the economy. Now, in terms of health sector, more than 50 crore individual has received the free treatment, under which the PM Ayushman Bharat Yojana with 50% being the women. So this is in terms of health sector where the free treatment is provided to the resident of this country under the Prime Minister Ayushman Bharat Yojana. और उसके जो beneficiaries की बात करें, 50% of them is the women beneficiaries. So again, very important part. And infrastructures की अगर बात करें, the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan will expand the multimodal connectivity in the country. Again, why? Because government has recently launched the National Logistic Policy 2022, right? Which will reduce the cost of logistics. So these are the broader plan of the government of India to augment the entire infrastructure in the country. Now, environment की अगर बात करें, the target of non-fossil fuel, which account for 40% of the electricity generation capacity, was achieved in the 9th year of the schedule. So this is 9 years ahead of schedule, the target was made. And even if you talk about many other targets that government of India has made in the international platform, be it it's a target of achieving net zero emissions, that is by 2070. So all things are in place, and even government of India is making all possible efforts to ensure its national determined contribution by 2030 also, right? So these are there. Now, external affairs की अगर बात करें, India has assumed the charge of the presidency for G20, and it will work towards the collective solutions for the global problem. And G20 meeting will held across the country throughout the year. So the process has yet started. The CPRA meetings are already taking place in the different venues recently in Indore, Bhopal, Udaipur, Jaipur, and even the other part is scheduled at Khajuraho, and many other places are there where the meetings are taking place. Now, the other news, that is the National Green Hydrogen Mission, very important and significant initiative by Government of India. Recently, the Union Cabinet has approved the National Green Hydrogen Mission. The green hydrogen addresses the issues by using solar and wind energy to produce hydrogen. So this is an alternative and clean fuel which will even call for the sustainability of the environment. The mission seeks to facilitate the productions part and even the demand creations uses of export and green hydrogen. It's derived products such as green ammonia and green methanol. So these are the byproducts. The products actually will be there under the mission. And the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, the concerned ministry for the particular program, will be responsible for formulating and regulating the implementation of the mission. So a direct question can be framed in the prelims examination with respect to the directive ministries, and even for many other government examinations, they directly ask which are the concerned ministry involved for the particular programs. Now, what is the expected outcome for the National Green Mission? So the development of green hydrogen productions capacity by 5 million metric ton per annum. This is what the target. And an associated renewable energy capacity of 125 gigawatts. Over 8 lakh crore of total investment is anticipated in the sector. And even government said that the creation of more than 6 lakh jobs will be there, and even the cumulative reductions of fossil fuel by 1 lakh crore. So this is how things will work out in terms of the green hydrogen mission, and abatement of nearly 50 million metric ton of the greenhouse gases emissions. That will even call for the reductions of the global greenhouse gases. Now, budgetary outlay की अगर बात करें, the initial outlay for the mission is 19,744 crore rupees, which is disbursed at the following components. The strategic invention for the green hydrogen transition is 17,490 crore rupees. Pilot project के लिए amount mentioned की गई है. For research activities and development part, these are the amount that has been allocated, and other mission component. If you're writing an examination, you definitely need to highlight the budgetary outlay. You don't need to write the part of the allocation amount. You need to just focuses upon the part that is actually there. So strategic investment, pilot project, research and development, and other mission components. Now the mission will be completed in 2 phases. This is how the entire process will work out. So 2 phases has mission में. The first phase है that is like focusing on creation for the demand through utilizations in refineries and even the gas sectors that increase the manufacturing capacity of domestic electrolyzer. Now, the pilot project will be undertaken to initiate the use of green hydrogen in the steel productions, long distance transport and shipping. Regulatory framework and standard will also be established by proper engagement with the international norms. And these measures are expected to drive down the cost of the product final part, and enable the large-scale deployment in the second phase. So this is about the phase 1, which will move ahead for 2023-24 till 26. Now phase 2 till 27 to 30, and the beginning of the second phase with the green hydrogen is expected to become cost effective. यहाँ पे कोशिश ये की गई है जो fossil fuel based alternatives हैं in refineries and fertilizer sector will also be explored out, so that it is also helping some part of the farmers as well, right? Depending upon the cost of the structure, the market demand, the feasibility of green hydrogen based projects which include the steel productions, transportations, shipping sectors and commercial scale will also be explored. So potentially कुछ sectors की अगर बात करें, जैसे steel is among one of them, right? So steel sector is one, transport sector is second. So these are the sector, even the shipping sector will be benefited from the entire phase 2. The new pilot project will undertake in the potential sectors such as railway and aviation. So these sectors are also going to be benefited with the green hydrogen mission. So specifically if you're writing an examination, as an example, you can highlight that these are the sector that will have a direct benefit and correlations with the missions. Now, the other projects that will focus on scaling up research and development activities, and even that is expected that by 2030, these initiatives will have a productions in the capacity for 5 million metric ton per annum. And the associated renewable energy capacity is about 125. This is what I have talked about in the beginning. I'll tell you this on the later, like on the coming slide although. India has to meet 50% of its energy requirement from the energy by 2030. Now, just to give you what we have discussed, कुछ आप important points अगर note करना चाहें, these are the summary that what we have discussed, that at least 5 million metric ton of the greenhouse gases annual productions will be there. Even 60 to 100 gigawatt of electrolyzer capacity, 125 gigawatt of the renewable energies, and total outlay is like, these are the details which I have already talked about. 6 lakhs job is expected to be the part of this particular schemes or the mission. So very important, like complete gist is there in this picture. Now the draft amendment to IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, will see the detail about this. What are the draft amendment that has been proposed? So the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has invited comment for the draft amendment to Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. And IBC provide for the framework for time-bound resolutions to insolvency companies as well as for the individuals. Some key amendments that is there under the bill. So first is about the pre-packed insolvency resolution process, which is also known as PIRP. इसके through जो MSME है, micro, small and medium enterprises, they will be eligible for the insolvency resolutions, which allow the faster resolution within 120 days. So the date has been confined to provide an earliest resolutions. And proposal to initiate PIRP must be there with the approved 66% of the financial creditor. So this is again a factually important point, specifically relevant for prelims also. The draft amendment seeks to expand the applicability of the framework, and other categories cover the corporate debtors that will be prescribed. And the draft amendment proposes to reduce the threshold of approval to 51% of the faster decision making. Now, the other important component in the amendment part is the real estate insolvency cases. For resolutions, the real estate insolvency, the allottees in the state and the project are treated as a financial creditor. Certain cases have also been observed wherein insolvency proceedings has been started against the entire company due to default in one project. The draft amendment proposes the real estate insolvency cases. Adjudicating authority will also have a discretion to apply resolution process only to those projects which are in default. So to some limitation, it will look for in resolutions, and even the real estate insolvency cases will be done by the concerned adjudicating authorities. Multiple resolutions planned for corporate debtors. तो ये बात की गई है जो corporate insolvency resolutions होंगी. Committee of creditors can approve only one resolutions plan, right? And the ministry noted that sometimes finding of the one resolution applicant to take other debtors is entirely a difficult task. The draft amendment proposes to empower the committee of creditors to approve more than one resolutions, right? So one से ज़्यादा resolutions pass हो सकती हैं even for the individual or for collective assets of the corporate debtors. So this is again the part of the changes that has been incorporated, and at least one of the approved plan must provide the resolutions to the corporate debtors as the going concern. Now, distributions of proceeds की अगर बात करें, जो distributions होंगी proceeds की, the ministry has observed that many disputes has raised related to the distributions of proceeds between the creditors. तो पहले draft amendment में propose की गई that the creditors will receive the proceeds up to the liquidation value of the claim. जो भी उनकी liquidation value होगी claim की, उसके parallelly या उसकी equivalent ही वो amount रखेंगे validations के लिए for the proceeds. And any surplus over the liquidations value will then be dispersed between all creditors in ratios their unsatisfied claims are there. Now, draft amendment to IT rules for the regulation of fake news and online gaming. Ministry of Electronics and Technology, the concerned ministry which is responsible for looking into the part of IT and other stuff in the country. So a draft amendment to the Information Technology, that is intermediaries guideline to the Media Ethics Code 2021, or even you could say IT rule, has been notified by the Information Technology Act. Very important, direct question can be framed in prelims, and also for the mains examination you can incorporate as an example purposes. And the act protect the intermediaries from liability of the third party content if it comply with the certain requirements. तो 2021 की जो रूल है वो स्पेसिफाई करती है ड्यू डिलिजेंस रिक्वायरमेंट को even for the intermediaries, and the draft amendment seeks to regulate the online gaming and any false information that is circulated via app or any third party aggregators. Now, some of the key features that is the part of the bill: regulating the false information in online games. See, if you talk about the IT rules which was there earlier, you must be aware that things are taken care in terms of prohibiting the part of the online gamings and false information. So the IT rule 2021 specifies restrictions on types of content that the users can create, allow, upload, and share. So this is the part of the thing that the government has come up in terms of regulating it. Content that threaten the unity of India, public order, pornography, or other thing that is harmful to child will be strictly prohibited. So this is under the regulation of false information in online gaming. The draft amendment adds that all intermediaries, including the online gaming, must be responsible to ensure to do that, right? And even published any information that is identified false or fake by the PIB fact check will not be allowed to upload in the any government website and even for any authorized agencies. And the host and online game are not in conformity with the law will be also banned. So recently, Government of India has also banned many apps, loan apps, which were not functional and even providing the false informations. Now, online games की अगर बात करें, the draft amendment defined that an online game that is offered on the internet is accessible by the users can make deposit with expectation of a financial warning. There should be a financial warning. See, in any case, like games which is ongoing in India, either it is Rummy or XYZ. So there should be a cautions that to be given beforehand before the installations or installations take place. The central government may notify that any game as an online game. And online gaming intermediaries is defined as an intermediaries that offer at least one game online. So the definition for the online game is also specifically mentioned under the new amendment. Now, moving to the obligations part, obligations of that is there. The obligations for online gaming intermediaries include some of the part that is the registration of the game within the self-regulatory body, obtaining and displaying the random number of generation certificate on onboard certificate, informing the users to know your customer procedures will be there, risk of financial loss, addiction that is associated with any online gaming, and measures to protect the user's money. So these things are there that is also included as a part of online gaming intermediaries. Verifying identifier of the users as per the RBI procedures will be based on the relationship, and RBI is individual which will be taking care for all things fraud that is taking place, and even the regulation part itself is calling for more stringent procedures. Such intermediaries will have a physical address in India. तो जरूरी है कि उनके physical address भी होने चाहिए so that an office, and the grievances part also can be reached out via any mode, either it is online also, but एक physical office की mandatory भी provisions में रखी गई है. Now, broadcasting infrastructure and the network development of Prasar Bharati. This was an initiative taken by the Government of India. Recently, the Cabinet Committee on Economy Affairs has approved the Central Sector Broadcasting Infrastructure and Network Development Scheme, जिसे BIND scheme भी कहते हैं. And this particular scheme is again important for your examination. Now, direct two statement based questions, or even if you want to use this as an example, you can use it. So BIND scheme is a vehicle for providing the financial support to Prasar Bharati of expensive related to the expansion and upgradations of broadcasting infrastructure in the country, चाहे वो content development की बात हो, civil work हो, and anything that is related to the issues of broadcasting and infrastructure, right? The scheme is worth of 2,500 crore rupees for Doordarshan and All India. तो ये दोनों जो government owned entities हैं, that is Doordarshan and All India Radio, they will be revamped, and the sector has approved for a creation of the infrastructure development for the network part. So the government is trying to augment the sector and even call for some of the advancement that is required. Now, what is BIND scheme? The scheme seeks to enable the Prasar Bharati to provide high quality content and even coverage increase in the channel part. The scheme will provide support for expanding and upgrading its broadcasting infrastructure, content development, and civic work. Further, the scheme will have a distribution part where over 8 lakh Doordarshan setup box will be given to the people in remote area, specifically the area where internet connectivities are not there, so the DTS services can even work, right? And वो areas government ने identify किए हैं, that also include the tribal area, left wing extremist वाली areas जो हैं, border areas, and even the district that is a part of aspirational district under the development district program. तो गवर्नमेंट की स्पेसिफिकली प्रोग्राम है एस्पिरेशनल डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्रोग्राम्स, उन डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में भी हाईलाइट किए जाएंगे स्पेसिफिकली ताकि ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट हो सके. सो इफ यू आर राइटिंग इन मेंस, make sure you highlight all this as an example and even the part of the benefits that is given. The total expected outlay for the scheme is 2,540. This will be up to 2025 and 26. Now, schemes to promote RuPay debit card and Bheem UPI transitions. The government is looking forward to promote the part of the RuPay debit card and Bheem UPI transitions. So the union government has approved the scheme to incentivize the RuPay debit card and low value Bheem UPI transitions. The scheme will be applicable to the banks having operationalization in India and which will be acquired by a bank, and further the transition done in India for the financial year 2022 and 23. Acquiring bank will provide the financial incentives for promoting the point of sale of e-commerce transition using the RuPay debit card. तो जो भी ट्रांजेक्शंस रूपे डेबिट कार्ड के थ्रू की जाएंगी पॉइंट ऑफ सेल्स में यूज होंगी, एंड इंसेंटिव पार्ट विल बी गिवन टू द मर्चेंट ऑल्सो. द पर्सन टू मर्चेंट ट्रांजेक्शन वैल्यू up to 2,000 rupees on the Bheem UPI platform will also be allowed. So this is how the government is looking forward with a low value amount and even penetrating on the part of the UPI transaction in the country. The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and the National Payment Corporation of India, this is NPCI, an umbrella body which is looking for the entire gamut of payment system in country. अगर पूरी payment system की बात करें तो NPCI is responsible for that, and even to omit the merchant categories that will include the industries part. The total outlay for the scheme is expected to be around 26,000 crore rupees. So one thing, the point of caution, already UPSC ने NPCI पे questions पूछे हुए हैं, so make sure you check out their website. It's very important to check their official website and even read about the About Us page of them, right? You'll get a complete part of the NPCI, how does it function, under which specific ministries it function. These are the basic relevant information as an aspirant of civil service examination you must know. Now, UPI transitions value की अगर बात करें for the year 2021, so this is for the entire month details which is there. The color code specify the platform like WhatsApp, Amazon Pay, Paytm, Google Pay, and Phone Pay, right? So these are the platform which is mostly used as an UPI. WhatsApp is not that on the part of the development, but again, mostly the things are taken care by the Phone Pay. The Phone Pay की बात करें, जो maximum platform में लोग use करते हैं, this is evident from the graph that the Phone Pay is mostly used. So these are the UPI transaction for the year, right? And the value has taken up to 8 lakh crore rupees. So this is the value which will be again augmented further in the next financial year. So this was for the part of the PRS discussion for the month of January. We have a lot more other initiatives for you, like daily news and editorial analysis, where I cover the news from the Hindu and Indian Express that will give you an in-depth idea and analysis part of the news for daily basis. We have IS Guested magazine, which you can download from our websites. FCA initiatives are there, PIB, MPR, which I'm discussing, gist of Yojana and Kurukshetra website will, the videos will be very soon uploaded in our websites. And other initiatives are also there. So all this initiative will help you to sail through the journey of civil services. If you have any other concern apart from it, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.